Hello everybody, I'm Shreeta and I work as a data engineer at Boolean Data Systems. Boolean Data Systems is a select Snowflake service partner providing several customized and industry focused solutions. Today we'll be exploring a comprehensive role based access control, also known as RBAC in a short form. I'm here with Anuj, the developer of this tool. This is designed for anyone who wants to understand how to manage their Snowflake environment through a clean and a professional interface. Hi Anuj.
Hi Shrita, thanks for having me. Today we are going to walk through every single feature of our RBAC application so that by the end of this session, you'll know exactly how to use it to manage your entire Snowflake infrastructure.
Perfect. Let's start with the basics then. What exactly is this application and who is it for?
Yeah, Shrita. So this is a native Streamlit application that provides a complete administrative interface for Snowflake. It's built for database administrators, data engineers, and anyone who needs to manage their users, roles, warehouses, databases across multiple environments like dev, QA, and prod. So I'll share my screen now so that I'll go through every menu, every tab, and I'll explain it to you thoroughly.
Sure.
So can you see my screen, Shrita?
Yeah, it is visible.
Yeah, so this is the main front page of our RBAC application. On the left hand side, you can see a sidebar which contains navigation menus. Here you can see the environment. You can choose it from dev, QA, and prod. I designed it for this demo purposes. And then in the navigation part, you can go through all the features menus of our RBAC application. So right now we are in the dashboard overview menu. So the dashboard overview menu details are shown on the right side, where you can see what all are visible. This is generally an overview of your Snowflake account. Here you can monitor the number of databases you have, the number of schemas, the tables you have, or the users and the role. So this gives you an overall look into the your Snowflake account. So this is about the dashboard overview. So coming to the next menu, we can see a catalog manager here. The catalog manager, as the name suggests, is generally to manipulate or remove the database schema or table level things. So here you can see subtabs inside this menu. Here we have database, schema, table, SQL worksheet, and an explorer. So coming to the first tab, this is generally to modify or manipulate the database management. So if you come down, you can see two actions here, create and remove. So you can create a database here. This is completely a UI based thing. You can just select this create option and then enter your database name. For example, I'll go with a Boolean DB and I'll just enter create DB. So if you can see the database Boolean DB has been created. So this, as you can see, there is no SQL required here and the database is already created in your account. So coming to the schema side of things, is the UI is consistent throughout this application. So you just have to use it once and then you'll get a hang of it. So here you can see this is pretty straightforward. So you can see two actions here, create and remove, and you can select the DB you want. For example, I'm going with Boolean DB we created earlier. I'm creating a Boolean schema. So just like this, the schema under the Boolean DB has been created. So this is same as the database things, but just you're creating a schema under it. Coming to the table side of things, you can select your Boolean DB, the schema which you want. I want to go with the Boolean schema. And for example, I'll create a Boolean table here. And this, while creation of tables in SQL, you need to mention define the columns, right? So here you can just enter the columns from here. For example, I'll go with ID int as my first column and the name string as my second column. And you can just enter your column definitions. And if you click on create table, the table under the Boolean DB Boolean schema and the Boolean table has been created. So this is about the creation or remove. So I'll go into the next menu. If you want to insert data into your table, the row just now we created has two columns in it. So if you want to enter details or enter rows inside the table, you can use the SQL worksheet I've been given. So this is generally the same worksheet level things which you have in the Snowflake. It works exactly like the SQL worksheet. You can just enter your commands and run the SQL here so that the data will be inserted. Coming to the Explorer side of things, see, you can see all the available DBs in our account. For example, I'll just go with a dev data raw DB. I need to quickly glance what is inside the database. So if I click on it, you can see the schemas under it. And if I go into the schema level of things, you can see the number of tables available inside it. So in this table, I'm checking what are the different columns available. I can just click on it and it will fetch you the top 20 rows of the underlying table. So if I click on customer raw, it's actually now fetching the tables and it will be available in a minute. So yeah, this is the preview of the table inside it. So you can just use the UI to just give a glance about what is the table containing and what are the columns in it. You can check the top 20 rows in it. So this is about the Explorer side of it. And if you want to remove a database, like you're seeing the database usage is done and you want to drop it, you can select the remove option I've given here. So the remove action, how it works is, see, I'll just select the dev data raw. Yeah, I'll select dev data raw, and here you can see we are removing the database, right? So you can see the schemas and tables under it. For example, if you are removing this database, you have a schema archive under it and you have 2 tables under it. And the landing, as we saw, has 4 tables. So you can confirm, you can check what all schemas or tables have been deleted inside the database. And you can just, when you're confirm about deletion, you can check this box, enter the name, and you can just click on delete database, and that will be dropped along with these schemas and these tables. So this is about the creation or removal of database, schema, table side of things, and Explorer, which you can just use it to quickly glance through your database things. So this is about the catalog manager. Till now, is it clear or you're stuck anywhere, Shrita?
No, it is perfect.
Okay, so this comes under the data management side of things. Now we'll go into the other menu, which is the access management. So coming to the access management, to have people working on the database we created, we read a specific kind of role, a user. We need to assign users to roles which we want, what he wants to access, and the warehouse side of things. So coming to the first tab, you can see a create or delete role. So here, as the name suggests, you can just create a role which you want. For example, I'll enter a dev page kind of. So if I click on create role, the dev page is created and you can use it as you want. So coming down, the select role to delete. This is the deletion side of things for the role. So if you can just see, you can just select a role here. For example, I'll select a dev user. It will just refresh, and then as we removed the database earlier, you can just confirm it and type the name here and then click on delete role. It will drop this role. So coming to the user side of things, the UI is fairly similar. You don't need any SQL anywhere, and you can just enter the user name, a password for him, and then you can click on the create user. It will create a user for you. And then for the deletion side of things, you can select a user from this, and then you can check and confirm his name and drop the user. So this is similar to the create user side of things. This is for the user role side of things, and this is for the users. Now you want to assign a role to a user, you can just select the role which you want, and you can select the user, select the role, and you can select an action. The actions are 2 here, assign and unassign. You can just click on the assign thing, and if you execute it, this role will be granted to that user. So you don't need any SQL here. You're just using the UI, which is fairly consistent across the application. So you just need to give it a look once, and then you'll get a hang of it. So for specific Snowflake accounts which have SSO logins for their users, you can enable or disable user here. You can select a user and then click on the action to enable or disable and click on apply. You will get it you will get it enabled or disabled as. So coming to the warehouse side of things, the warehouse is an important part in Snowflake. So you need to manage that also. Admin needs to take care of that. So a warehouse has separate subtabs under it, like create warehouse, delete, assign to role, revoke from role, list warehouse. So if you want to create a warehouse, you come into the create warehouse subtab, and then you enter a name of your warehouse, select the size you want to give it, and you want to give suspend mode. Obviously you don't want to go overboard with your cost, so you select the number of seconds it need to be active before it gets suspended. So you select, suppose I'm selecting 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. So I select the auto suspend seconds, and you want it to auto resume when queries are run with it. You can check this toggle for it, and then if you press on the create warehouse, it will create a warehouse for you. And the same goes for the delete warehouse. You can just select the warehouse which you want to delete, and then check this and confirm with the name, so you don't accidentally drop any warehouse which is in use. And you can click on the drop warehouse, it will drop a warehouse for you. And coming to the assign to role, if you want a particular role to have access to only one warehouse, it does not need any access to other warehouses. So you can select the warehouse here from the drop down. You can select the role which you want to grant him the singular warehouse, and then you check these boxes which are usage, operate, monitor. You want to give him the permission privileges on the warehouse, and then if you grant it to role, it will be granted to the role. Same goes for the revoking side of things. Just select the warehouse, select the role, and check these boxes, and this will be revoked. So this is about the assigning and revoking of warehouses to role. And if you come to list warehouses, you can check the number of warehouses we have. And if you click on that, you can check the details about, see, my compute W is right now of X small size. It is in a suspended state. So the details, the minimum clusters, maximum clusters, these all are inside this compute WH. So you can have a look into the warehouses here. So this is about the warehouses tab. So if you go into the last one, the current assignments, this is fairly useful for Snowflake accounts which have huge volume of roles and huge volume of users. Here you can see a role-centric view and also a user-centric view. For suppose if I want to check the dev data engineer role, you want to check the users. Right now it does not have any users. If you want to check the CLV role, who has this? So I have assigned this role to a CLV user, and the privileges what he has. See, right now he has privileges with the CLV database, CLV schema on the table. So right now you can just click on the role if you wish, and you can check which are the users are assigned to it, and then you can check the privileges of that role. So here you can check it, and then you can revoke it from here. So coming to the user side of things, the users, you can just select a user. For suppose I'm selecting my role, I'm assigned account admin and a DE role, and my privileges as such. So you can, this is a user-centric view, so you can check what the users are having, which roles and which privileges they are having. If you are disabling a user, you can see a red circle beside the user. You can check it. If you see a red user, that is a red circle beside the user, that is a disabled role. If you don't see anything, that is an enabled role. So this coming to this is the current assignment tab. This is fairly very useful for organizations having a large number of roles and users. So this is about the access management. Here you can create, revoke, delete roles, users, assign it to him, create warehouses. This is about the access management tab. So now it is fairly straightforward, right, Shrita?
Yeah. For initial users, it is very easy to learn what is happening inside. Yeah.
Yeah, this can be used. Yeah, this can be used with any user. He can just go through it once, and then he'll get a hang of what. You don't need to know any side of SQL. You can manage it directly through the UI. So we'll go into the next menu. Yep. So next comes the privilege manager. So if I go into the privilege manager, here we created the database before, we created roles and users before, and now we are coming to the assigning of things for the roles or users in the database side of things. So if you see here, database privileges, we have three tabs: database privileges, schemas, and tables. Here you can select an action, grant or revoke. So if we want to grant, for suppose I'm selecting a dev data engineer role, and then I'd want him to grant the Boolean DB we created, and I can give him the usage privilege or ownership privilege to that role, and then I can just select a box, click on it, grant privilege on database. He'll have a privilege on the all things of the database, like he'll have the top level usage for the database. Same comes for the schema side of things. You have two actions, grant and revoke. You can select the role, select the DB, select the schema. You can give him the ownership or the usage privilege, and just click on here. You will give him the privileges regarding the schema. Coming to the table side of things, this gets complicated because right now you can see some users, some roles need just read permission for the table, or some require insert also. Some have total permission, like they can delete rows also. So you can just manage it from here. You can select the role you want. You can select the DB. I'm going with the dev data row, and here you can select the schemas under it. I'm selecting the landing schema, and then you can select the table under it, and then I can check it here to give him insert, select, update, delete regarding to the role as per your usage. So you can grant privileges on the table here. So this is regarding the manage privileges. This is fairly simple. So I hope you got it. Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the next menu. This is the environment management. Here, this is useful for a Snowflake admin if someone is using it and he's managing multiple environments. Like many people have access to the Snowflake account, and then he needs to monitor who is in what environment. But suppose we are selecting here you can see we are in the dev environment. So this gives inventory this is like an inventory management. You can check all the users inside this dev environment if you go into the users tab. Likewise, you can see if I select users, you can see total 6 users are present in the dev environment. Now coming to the role side of things, you can see there are also 6 roles for this dev environment. You can check the databases which are in this environment, the schemas under it, and also the tables. So here you can directly see what database, what schemas, and what tables are under this environment. But suppose if I want to quickly glance the users inside QA, I'll just select this box. And it will fetch me the total number of users inside QA. Right now I have 5 total users. And these all should be mentioned with a prefix which I'm selecting. For example, if you are in the dev, you want a prefix such as dev underscore, or QA, you want a QA underscore. So you'll get a fine search filter here, and then you can check the number of users, roles, the database it has, the schemas under it. So this way you can manage your environment properly.
Okay.
So this is regarding the RBAC application suite.
It's like the whole Snowflake is in one application. And thank you so much for this comprehensive walkthrough. This gives our listeners everything they need to start using the Snowflake admin application effectively.